Now, growing up, you only knew about a few things you could do in sports, right? Be an athletic trainer or a coach or something like that. Man, no, this is big business. We're talking about $1 billion industry.
What is the value they get when they watch your shows? Is it like for recruiters? Like what type of people kind of tune in and see what you got going?
I didn't start using a computer until beginning like last summer.
Nice.
I always use my phone. CapCut.
This is coming up quick.
Of course.
This is a pro sports team playing right down the street. So what's the name of the team and where can people find more information? Hello, welcome back to the Content Parlor. The Content Parlor is the social club for content creators. I'm your co-host, Chardell. We're here with a special episode. We got an exclusive today about sports marketing. And we got a special guest with us. We'll let him introduce himself in a second. But before we get into that, let's do some quick housekeeping. We are in the Content Parlor. This episode is sponsored by the Content Parlor Studios. The Content Parlor Studios is your one-stop shop for camera and equipment rental, as well as studio rental. You can rent all of this gear that we're using today to film this podcast, as well as access to our photo studio, which is right down the hall on set B. Should we call it set B, or maybe we should call it set S?
Set S? Yeah, we can go with set B.
Set B. Set A is set B. If you want to rent this equipment, feel free to do so by going to stablegray.com/studio and book your appointment today or tomorrow or next week or whatever.
Yeah, when you need it.
With that out of the way, make sure that you follow us on social media. That's where you'll find the latest and greatest content and episodes, exclusive content. And we are working to put together our special social club for entrepreneurs and content creators to have access to opportunities and much, much more. So keep it locked right here. All right, with that out of the way, and also just to be clear, our handle on social media is @Content Parlor, not the Content Parlor, @Content Parlor. All right, so we're going to do a little round table here for introductions. Y'all know me, I'm your former host. My social media handle is my name, @Chardell Barnes on all the social platforms. It's your boy, holla at me.
Right on.
To my left, and then to his left, my co-host. What's good?
Yeah. Teddy Young. My handle, I don't remember what it is. It's either The Artist. I think I changed it to The Artist Y. I don't know, but we'll have the correct one in the
description.
In the description. But yeah, glad to be here again. And then we have our special guest. You go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Jamen Kinman, founder, CEO of 402 Visuals, the social media platform, and 402 Elite ABA. So,
right on.
That's what's up. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about this episode. Saw it pop up on the calendar. It said 402 Visuals, and it says sports marketing.
Sure.
We was talking a little bit earlier. It's like I'm actually sports management was my major. I got my start in sports marketing. So, it took me back a little bit.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And this has been trending, right? Like this space of sports marketing. We just look at the history of it. It started off where you had kids just trying to go D1, just trying to get discovered, and this kind of field emerged. Now, obviously, if you take it all the way back, when cameras first were introduced to capture the games and things like that. I don't want to give them too much about your backstory, but that's where it kind of started. And since then, it's like a whole economy around this thing. And I know you guys know more about that. I'm here as a guest on the show today just to learn about it. But this is a wide world, and people don't realize it. They're gonna find out today just how dope this space is.
And it's big business. Now, growing up, you only knew about a few things you could do in sports, right? Be an athletic trainer or a coach or something like that. Man, no, this is big business. We're talking about $1 billion industry. And when I was in school, I found out about all the different jobs that's a part of it, and then also working in athletics for over 5-6 years. All the work that goes on behind the scenes, man, it's wild.
Where'd you work at?
Well, I went to Wayne State College. That's where I got my sports management degree. So I was able to help with the athletic department there and get my first look behind the scenes and what it looks like on the business part of it. Okay. I knew what it was like on the other side as an athlete, a student athlete, and then went to Creighton, was just a little bit bigger at the time. They were still in the Missouri Valley, so just big enough but small enough to be able to get some good experience, but just seeing what all went on behind the scenes to make to what people see on game day when they're coming in. That whole experience, it's thought out. Nothing is random. It's all planned and organized, and so much work is put into it. I mean, it's a big operation.
Hey, shout out Creighton basketball. Shout out Coach McDermott, Doug McDermott, Dougie McBuckets. Who else came through there? You got Wise, I think Wise or Wiseman or something like that, and then you've got. One of the greatest snipers of all time came through.
Korver.
Kyle
Korver, you got Anthony Tolliver.
And then we can't forget the Dotzlers. You got my point guard, Josh Dotzler. Shout out Josh Dotzler and Josh Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got some local icons that have come through Creighton. So shout out Creighton. Yeah. Shout out Wayne State as well. We're keeping it in Nebraska, so no hate.
Yeah.
But the volleyball team over at Wayne State College is a problem as well. They got some stars up there.
Solid.
And they've helped to develop the state of Nebraska into a viable industry for volleyball. So shout out to Wayne State.
Yep.
Cool.
Sure. Just some interesting, facts as we get into it and just learn about your, background, just so people just know how big it is, and just with the recent.
For sure.
We're talking about social media, how that has impacted sports and NIL.
Right.
It's just the importance of highlight reels for, recruitment and just the influence. And like we were saying, sports is what, 700, it'll be a 700 billion by 2026.
Yeah.
That's the projection. And it also says 94% of sports marketers say that social media is essential for building athlete brands, teams, and fan engagement. So with that, go ahead and give us just a little bit about your background and what you're doing.
So basically, if y'all don't know what I do already, I make highlight reels for mainly basketball, but I've ventured out to different sports. I've tried and I've attempted some others. But I used to do high school a lot, but now I kind of turned into the college and even professional now. Being around the high school scene really, I kind of grew up with the same guys. I'm kind of stuck around them, not even just in Nebraska, but national wide too. Because by the time I started when I was 14. Okay. I used to have my little iPhone 7.
Okay.
I used to go to these games. I used to record on my phone. I used to make little highlight reels. They were the weakest things ever, but everybody thought they was code. So,
yeah.
But yeah, and then I didn't get my first actual camera until 4 years later, my senior year of high school. And I started off with a little T6.
Okay, Canon guy.
Okay, that's all
Canon guy.
For now. Now I actually just recently switched over to Sony within the last 2 months.
Okay.
So now I shoot with like the Sony A7 IV. So
Okay, that's what's up.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a nice camera, nice autofocus on
for
that
sure.
joint.
But no, like you said, the growth of highlight reels is insane. I mean, I didn't really do it to kind of, and even if you see my page now, I kind of don't do it for like the flashiness. It's more to help those people get to that next level, even if it's from middle school to high school or high school to college or college to the pros now, which that's really why I started doing it. Not really because of all the little flashes and stuff you see now. Is
Yeah.
for sure.
Right
Now
on.
you were a hooper too, if I'm not mistaken.
I dabbled a little bit back in my day.
Okay.
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit back in my day, but then back in high school. I mean, I'm 21 now, but so back in my day, it's not really.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in
So
my day.
started off you know doing this for people that you knew and
sure.
friends and stuff like that. At what point were you like, man, I can make a career out of this. Like,
For sure.
I want to start a business doing this.
Right. I think that point really was when really the guys who I saw grow up. So when I first started, my first national job was with Recruit Looks, which is a AAU tournament scene that's nationwide. I wasn't able to drive then, so my mom used to take me to Kansas City and Chicago, and I used to roll up there, but I never told them because I don't think they knew how old I was, so I kind of kept it on the DL. But
Okay.
yeah, I always pulled up with my camera, and I mean, I was still rocking with some of the 30, 40-year-olds that I was working with, but I mean, guys in there, I really, the guys you'd see in the NBA now, I mean, I'm really good friends with the Toronto Raptors forward, Grady Dick. He's a good friend of mine.
Nice.
Other guys as well. I mean, Brandon Miller for the Hornets. He's a good friend of mine. Nick Smith. I kind of that kind of started me knowing, I say this humbly, knowing almost everybody.
Okay.
And it kind of blew up like my clientele to where that's why I expanded from not just doing high school in Nebraska, just kind of everywhere, because Nebraska is not the only places with underrated hoopers. So
Yeah. Nah, for real. Yeah, I have conversations with Jardel, just because Wayne State College is a D2,
Right.
But it's like something that can just get overlooked because people are just focused on that D1,
Right.
but D2 schools,
It's
D1
crazy.
AA, even NA, was it NAI?
Yeah.
IA, they have to recruit too,
For sure.
and they're looking for athletes.
For sure.
Yeah,
And those
I mean,
athletes want to play at the next level. They don't care
Of course.
where. They want to play at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about like Curry coming out of Davidson.
Right.
I mean, that wasn't a marquee school at all.
Right.
You've got a lot of people, right, that have to get discovered to get up to even the D1 level. And remember also, pro is not just the NBA.
Right.
There's people playing the Euro League making good money.
Right.
Canadian League. You've got the Brazilian League. I know some people playing down in South America making good money.
Right.
So, and I've even seen now they've got, obviously N1, shout out to N1, but they've got, I was in Puerto Rico, they've got a pop-up that they do at the mall.
Right.
And the players get paid
Yeah.
to go touring at malls.
What?
Yeah, and it's like a half court, but these guys are 6'6", 6'7", with a handle, with a jumper, and they just get paid to entertain in the mall. So if you're getting paid to play, you're a professional.
That's true. Like, who was the guy? I wasn't familiar with him. He's a big influencer. He came to Lincoln, and it's
Cam
like,
Wilder. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's not a pro athlete or anything, right?
So Cam's story is actually kind of crazy. So Cam is a very, probably one of the most famous hoopers out right now. He but not many people know is that he played 1 year of the only college basketball he played was 1 year of NAIA at Midland.
Okay.
So he played 1 year in Fremont, but now he's doing what he's doing now. But yeah, just to piggyback off Rich said, I mean, D2. I know a lot of D2 hoopers that are better than D1 hoopers. I mean, it's just, I mean, you got guys like Dylan Travis who just went to the Olympics. He played at D2 at Florida Southern down there. He's from D2 and one of Omaha's, in my opinion, Omaha's best point guard ever, Tyrell Carroll.
Okay.
He played at Missouri Western, and then he played at Angelo State. He played D2. D2, they got some hoopers, especially around here. And the MIAA is one of the most, renowned D2 conferences around. And you even have one of the, if not the greatest D2 program down there at Northwest Missouri State, not far from here.
Yep.
So
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about there. I mean, I'm on YouTube looking right now. You've obviously got the next chapter. They're monetizing their platform, just 1v1. You've obviously got Ball is Life, big platform. The professor's built a whole platform for himself, which is crazy. I mean, you thought he was washed, and this guy's hooping in his 30s, 40s, and people say he could have played pro.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, there's so many different lanes now. And then, we're just overlooking the big three. Hello, there's
It's a whole
the
nother-
big three.
Yeah.
And then women's basketball as well. So
For sure.
we've set like a serious canvas of what we're talking about today. But as we unpack the conversation, especially as it relates to the creative process, and the inspiration that goes into that, where do you get your inspiration for your platform? Because there's all these different ways that you could go.
For sure.
How do you decide like what you're going to focus on when you point your camera at things?
I think it really just depends on the situation. I've recorded crazy things from that Lincoln takeover with Cam Wilder. I was there in the flesh.
Right on.
But I've also one of my favorite things I've done in the past 3-4 years has been the TBT, the $1 Million Basketball Tournament. That's been a real favorite of mine, and my team who I was with just this year made it to the Sweet 16. So, just kind of developing. The main thing I really look for is really like a story. I don't really. It's not really much motivation if there's not a story behind it.
Right on.
Like having, obviously you can have the guy who everybody loves, everybody knows is a bucket. But if you have the guy who didn't play high school or didn't play college and he's still on the same level of that guy who did play D1 and now he's doing the same, and they're on the same level, I mean, it's, the main thing I really focus on when shooting is definitely a story.
Okay.
Now TBT, they play at the is it the CHI Center? Have they done tours here, or is it just outside of Omaha?
They've done one stop here. It was at the DJ Sokol Arena.
Yeah,
Okay,
I remember
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Is that where, didn't Josh coach?
Yeah.
Josh Jones. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
they played the team overtime team, which features like
It's a good
4
team.
NBA players now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a
Dang.
good team. I've definitely heard of that one.
Right on.
Okay. So you're a dynamic shooter, so you can shoot with different scenarios, kind of react
For
to the
sure.
situation. What can people expect? What is the value they get when they watch your shows? Is it like for recruiters? Like what type of people kind of tune in and see what you got going?
well, so currently on all social medias, I reach over 1 million people every month just off of my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, all that. It's
Nice.
So it's really all over people, but the main people I try to focus on is the recruiters, because you got, like I said, I mean, I've recently developed time into the adult scene and helping send guys to start their overseas career. Guys from here like Tatum Red and Amari Stewart, they've kind of been through. I've kind of helped them start their overseas career, and now they have. They're making money hooping. So it's really, the main thing is definitely recruiters, because social media is cool and all, but I don't really want to do it if I'm not changing people's lives.
Yeah. It ain't just for the likes.
For sure.
Nah, I got you.
For sure.
Okay, so you told us a little bit about the creative process and inspiration. Now you mentioned in your story how you started with that iPhone and then transitioned to the Canon and then the Sony. Can you tell us a little bit of like how you decide when to to invest in new equipment and how has upgrading your gear transformed what you do?
Right. So I really didn't. This was defiant 14-year-old me, but I really didn't see a quote unquote point on getting a camera because I had my phone that could do the same thing. So I actually didn't. The reason I didn't get my camera until then is because in high school I used to skip class a lot to go out to these sporting events and film. So I wasn't.
That's not a crime, is it? He can't be charged.
Might have to cut that out.
No, but me and my dean had a really good relationship, and he kind of forced me to get into like the yearbook and scene, so I could get credit for doing it.
Okay, that's a good.
So right, and I didn't, and that's kind of the yearbook teacher really kind of showed me what the difference is. And I mean, even my first year of doing that, my first few months doing that, I had, you could probably still find it in the yearbook of my high schools, but I used to take pictures with my phone, and they were still using the yearbook. So it's really, so it really didn't, just depended on, so they had 3 cameras, they would like have us go out and do sporting events, 3 T6s, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then, I'm trying to remember how exactly it happened, but I remember I used to. I hope I don't get in trouble for this now, but I know I used to. I didn't have a camera at the time, so I used to use that camera, and I used to go to different schools and still use it. So and I kind of fell in love with it after that.
Man, this dude is a hustler, y'all. This dude is not playing. He gonna use them cameras.
Right.
That's right.
But then it was a Christmas gift from my mother, that exact camera. Like the few months later, after my junior year, first semester, she bought me that camera, and I started using it. I really didn't know a lot about cameras. I'm still learning more about cameras.
Right on.
Because especially with my new investment now, I feel like a rookie. But and then I ended up using that camera until I graduated high school. Then I switched to a Canon 80D.
Okay.
That was again, it was like another gift. It was another graduation present.
Wow.
So that was really, and I looked at the Canon 80D because I didn't want to like ask my mom for a lot. So it was kind of asking my mom to just get a slightly upgrade because, with my T6, I was out here recording big guys now, like Mikey Williams and like guys like that, like who are very renowned now. And yeah, just looking at those pictures I took before, if I had the camera now, it'd be kind of crazy. But,
right, because we're talking about fast-paced sports, so you gotta have the right settings, you gotta have the right camera. You just can't go out there with any lens and any setting and capture somebody moving that fast. That's one of the hardest things,
especially
to get.
Photo. Yeah,
for
photo
sure.
is
sport
very difficult.
Photography
to get
ain't no
sharp.
joke
at all. No, I even just this year I started getting the actual photography, and it's like learning how to walk. It's kind of crazy. I still prefer sports for sure though.
Photo and video settings are very different. I can respect that.
Right.
Now let me ask you about the athletes. Can people get a contract with you, like a marketing contract for you to cover them and come out and shoot specifically to promote their platform?
For sure. But the main thing with me is that obviously money is great, but I don't. I got to see a higher purpose than just having money.
Okay.
Because I've gotten hired to jobs where they wanted a highlight reel, but they only scored 4 points, and it's kind of like that kind of like takes the fun out of it for me. So it's kind of like I got to see a purpose, really. But I mean, like I'm all open to all ears about everything. I mean, even just my new venture now, having a professional basketball team here, it's really did my little expanded my eyes for sure.
I'll clap to that. I'll do
Yeah.
a little clap to that.
All right, that's what's up. You touched on it, but can you touch on a little bit more about the role that the athlete's personal story plays in that
For
creation?
sure. I mean, the personal story is really a lot, just because not only it's what makes it fun for me, but it makes it, you could tell in the video, like even now, I mean, one venture I've found that I really like is like really doing like men's leagues around here.
Okay.
It's been, you talk to and you meet very unique people, and it's and that's one of the main reasons why I love to do what I do, is because of networking as well. I like to meet new people, and because you never know who you might need in the future.
Yeah, that's true.
So I like to meet new people, and kind of just the story kind of shows what how they got where they are was really, because I always loved my favorite movie growing up was Coach Carter, so it really was like the inspirational stuff is really
right.
what continued it, because there's definitely points where I've hit it a few times. I've hit it a few creative spells before, just kind of.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Right, and but it always, I'm blessed for somebody to always come back and kind of spark my interest again, especially in the adults now, because learning the adult story I think is way more interesting than learning a middle school or high school kid's story.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's good. Just more to unpack. So.
Right.
So on the storytelling note, like what are some of the tools? Because a lot of the people watching our platform are creatives as well. What are some of the tools you use aside from the Sony and Canon cameras? Which, to Canon's defense, I would say out of the box, their color is better.
Right.
Yeah, some good color.
But the autofocus, I think for Sony, the Canon focus is great, but
Right.
the Sony is on a crazy level with the eye tracking and all of that stuff.
For sure.
But once you get it off of the camera, you get it into your computer, like what are the tools that you use? Are you like a Da Vinci guy? Are you a Final Cut guy? And then, like what is your workflow to get those videos pumped out?
For sure. So it's really just depending on the situation, because I've been in AAU tournaments I used to do 12-hour sessions, just 10 games back to back to back, and
Wow.
I got to post something really quick. So I didn't start using a computer until beginning like last summer.
Nice.
I always used my phone. CapCut, not sponsored, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Hey,
Right. Here you go. Endorsement.
But no, CapCut has been amazing because it's you can do a lot, not a lot, but you can do a lot of the similar things you can do on a computer. But it's running on your phone, you can just export it and get it out. So when I'm needing to export something really quick, that's what I would use as CapCut. But all through high school, they had me use Final Cut the whole time. It was okay, except it was kind of difficult because my teachers who were teaching me it was learning as themselves too.
Oh.
So it was kind of
We all learning together.
Yeah, it was
Caleb said the same thing.
Same thing about Da Vinci.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of the difficult part, but I really fell in love with Adobe for sure. Adobe was a lot easier, not easier, but a lot more simpler, and it made turn from a 6-hour project down to a 2-hour. So it's really
So tools matter, huh?
yeah, for sure.
But I think to your point, it just goes to show, because I think a lot of people will watch your content and say he's using, some
Right.
software I couldn't possibly have access
For
to.
sure.
It's not the software, it's what's in the mind and how
course.
you're translating. So, master your craft out there, guys, and you can use your phone
Yeah, of
to build a huge following.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, definitely not sleep on the phones, especially I have guys in high school that hit my DMs all the time asking me like what I've done or how that, and I just told them that just work with what you got. You don't need the most expensive camera in the game. You don't need the most expensive lens, because in my opinion, half the time the guys who have all that really try and base their work off of that, not really their creativeness. And that's in my opinion. But
yeah.
so yeah, it's really because I've created documentaries and stuff with a Canon 80D, and this Canon 80D is like sort of beginner level camera still. So it's kind of it's really the shooter. It's not really the equipment you have at all.
no pun intended there, Hoopers. So.
Okay, that's interesting, because one of my questions was going to be, what role do you think high quality video plays in building an athlete's personal brand?
For sure.
Sound like it doesn't. That maybe, but
I'm not gonna say it doesn't, because it definitely does to a point. Because you have, obviously, I've shot 1080p almost my whole life, and then now just this year, I'm shooting constant 4K. It's obviously a huge difference.
Okay.
But it's a huge difference. But I didn't really see I didn't see a difference while I was having the 80D, just because I knew like how to make it not what it was, if that makes sense. Like not people wouldn't guess I was shooting with the 80D.
I got you.
Like they would think I'm shooting like a R5, not an R5, but an R7 and stuff like that. Just off of, the smoothness, all of it matters. To the transitions, to the music, to.
So it had that high quality look, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Right on.
Very impressive. So I think, we talk about the brand that you're building and the growth. The only thing that I really want to know, there's a couple questions here, but really you've answered a lot of those. What's kind of the next step with your brand and evolving it from where it's at today to where you want to get to? Like, where are you trying to go?
It's hard because I'm 21, working with a lot of athletes that I never dreamed of working with. Guys like, you might have to be real hoopers to know this, but guys like Thomas Robinson, who played at KU. You got guys like, I was just in Kentucky, recorded Montrezl Harrell. Like, it's really.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's really, obviously not to the point where I would like it to be, just because I don't see a limit to this. So it's really, to answer your question, I think really the next step would be, honestly, I want to get more into like the street hooping scene, because that I know is really going right now, and really just the camera, all this stuff really got me thinking about doing a lot more of the street ball scene, or I've even talking to Next Chapter a lot, just guys off of there, and so that might be the next step, or I might just continue what I'm doing and see what opportunities come next.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of Montrez. He's a current NBA player.
Well, he just today he signed with an Australian team.
Oh,
so,
did he just today? Okay,
yeah.
well, he's
He
more
was.
up on things than I am, so, excuse me. But, definitely, play with LeBron, he's
For sure.
played against every.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
for sure.
a guy.
Okay, I don't have a
For
not a-
sure. No, I
He was
recorded.
playing with the Clippers, or who's he? He played with Westbrook for a while, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. Clippers.
Yeah, I recorded him back in the TBT because he played with the Louisville alumni team. So it was like him, Russ Smith, Chris Jones, guys who like you may not know if you're a new face to basketball, but if you know a little bit, you'll be like, okay, that's kind of crazy. But just really guys like that, and even just this past NBA draft, I mean, out of the 14 lottery picks, I knew 6 or 7 of them.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Just off of my past relationships and who I've met throughout the way. I mean, if I showed people my contact list, it'd be kind of crazy. I say that humbly, of course, but yeah, just I mean, the guys who are really popping now. I mean, just going to every game really would set it apart. Just because when he was, I mean, I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with the Thompson twins who are in the NBA now, that played at OTE.
I think I know their faces, but I don't know their story.
Yeah, so they, I met them a while back when it was right after COVID. Nobody really knew who they were, but they played for like a local Florida AAU team, and they played Mikey Williams down in Kansas City. I'm not sure if y'all know who Mikey Williams is. Mikey Williams is like he was very big high school hooper, and now he obviously had to deal with some stuff, and now he's at UCF. But it was a very big, packed out game. But I mean, nobody would have guessed probably. If you asked anybody there, nobody would have guessed that those two guys were going to be the 3rd and 4th pick of the draft.
Wow.
So it was really
Yeah, that's where I know their name from.
yeah, their story. And like I said, nobody really knew who they were. I mean, the team they were playing. I mean, you could probably find YouTube videos now. Mikey Williams versus unknowns, but that team was actually full of like 5 guys who went D1. So it was really, it was definitely something crazy.
So I have some more questions about that because this sports marketing is it's changing so fast.
For sure.
I mean, I think when I think of that story, obviously I think of like the Ball brothers. So you got Lonzo, LaMelo Ball, and the story of how they got drafted, and then you think more recently to Bronny James and how he got drafted and how crazy that was for him to play 1 year. Average, I think, 2 points a game or something like that.
Wasn't he like injured most of the year?
Injured going into it, and then had to step out. For him to get drafted like that, and the power of marketing, the power of the brand, the LeBron James brand.
Right.
Well, first of all, like, what do you make of that draft story? Do you think that he was worthy of being drafted to the NBA?
I do, just because, I mean, you really got to know hoops if anybody who says they don't, I mean, you really got to fact check them because it's really how much do they really know because most people don't know, but back in high school, Bronny was projected top 3 to be a top 3 pick.
Dang.
Him having his cardiac arrest, I believe, really set a lot of stuff back. But I mean, I thought it was really smart for the Lakers because, I mean,
he's definitely a steal.
Yeah.
If not just for the marketing, he's a steal.
Yeah. I mean, he's a lengthy, taller guard who has the genetics of one of the best of all time. I mean, if he wasn't going to take him, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else took him.
Really? Somebody else would have jumped on that?
Hopefully my Thunder, but
I was a big Thunder fan when when Durant was there. So okay, so he gets drafted. They really have him in kind of a D-League situation right now. He's kind of, developmental league,
right.
So developing his skills. So do you think he's like a 1-year prospect, 2 years, where he could be a feature player? Because we've seen something like this with, what's his name, that won the chip with the Lakers, and they traded him to Chicago. And he came out of the D-League. I'm trying to think of his name. That played with the Lakers. And now he's a great, like, almost like wing
Alex
player.
Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of. So the Lakers have done this before. Is my
Right.
point? Is they developed a player in the D League, pulled him in, and then bam, that was a championship player. So do you see that kind of path for him, like a 1 to 2 year, or do you think it would take him longer to develop?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1 or 2 year thing, but I also think it may be longer just because the coaching staff they have around him. I mean, they have one of my favorite coaches of all time, Scott Burks, is one of the assistants. And Scott Burks, I mean,
Also, shout out OKC.
yeah, he was one of the key members of the developmental of KD, Westbrook, Harden. Like he was the coach throughout almost that whole time.
A beast at drafting.
Right. Right. So it's really, I think him and then having JJ Redick as the head coach, I mean, learning from one of the best shooters of all time. I mean, a lot of people saying that his shooting is going to be off, but give him a few years with JJ Redick, that they might be eating their words after that. So I think it really just depends on what their plan is. I don't think they're going to get him up and ship him out. I think if they're going to get him up to that level, I think it may be another Kobe thing where you might see a 21 year career with just the Lakers.
That's a strong claim. It's fair, but it's strong.
Yeah, especially now. I mean,
Right.
for a player to stay with the
Right.
team like that long.
Yeah. Now, so my last question about Bronny James, because they have a chance. They've got enough pieces there, and with the new coaching staff, I think they've got a chance at making a title run. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be this season, but if LeBron can play like he's been playing for another 2 or 3 seasons, it's certainly a possibility that we might see a all-time great win a championship with his son. So my question then for that is, like, am I wrong for thinking that's a possibility? What do you think of that?
No. I mean, one thing I learned about when growing up, I mean, I grew up obviously a Thunder fan. I was a KD fan until July 4th, 2014. when he broke my heart as a kid. But no, I don't think I've learned never to count anything past LeBron. I mean, even just what he's did already. I mean, there's always the LeBron stand is crazy. Haters and lovers. I mean, it's all crazy. So it's really, I want to admire greatness because I wasn't around for the Michael Jordan times and all that. So this is really my.
Ah, okay.
I think Kobe's the GOAT, but this is really a big guy for sure.
And none of that stuff offends me. I have LeBron and MJ tied right now. So, and when we talk about Kobe, I have Kobe right there too in the top 3. So when I say it, I'm talking about like 2K rating of like 99.5, 99.3, and 99.1. Like they're all
right.
we're splitting hairs because they're all right there in my opinion. So whichever order people do it in, it's like that's fine with me.
Right.
If you got MJ number 1, cool. You know, if you got Kobe number 1, yep. I mean, Kobe's kind of a better Michael Jordan, if we're being honest.
He is.
But he came after him,
Yeah.
so he got to learn his moves
Right.
and stuff. So he's more accurate shooter. I think he's got more clutch games,
100%.
and he's played. We might be able to argue played against harder competition.
I think so.
The
I think so.
Spurs and Celtics,
LeBron and the Heat and
LeBron and the Heat.
even the young Thunder team. I mean,
Yeah. So
I
an argument could be made.
right. Yeah.
81 points. MJ never scored 81. He scored a lot, but he didn't
That's a
score
lot of
81.
points. 81 is a lot.
So you respect. I respect Kobe at number 1, and rest in peace as well.
Of course.
Well, you've answered my questions. What else we got here? So we talk about, just to wrap up here, we talk about the impact of the creative scene, right? So the community influence that you're having, building this platform and showing people this is a reality. Is there any kind of message that you would want to send to up and coming athletes that from the things that you've been seeing? You've traveled, you've seen all these different things popping up. For folks that don't necessarily believe that they have a chance or they're not sure if they do, what would you say to people out there?
I'd say don't let, because especially nowadays, don't let social media get to you. Just because, I mean, I'm around these guys' ages, and so growing up with social media, it's more of a curse than it is a blessing. Just because you got guys who will go ins and outs to make sure that you fail, and those guys, I mean, you kind of just keep trucking along because those guys are to be the guys you kind of laugh at the end because they're, I mean, even now, I mean, I ain't gonna point no names, but I'm 21 years old and I still have 30, 40-year-olds who think about me on a daily, just hoping I mess up somehow. So it's kind of, my advice is really just to keep going, and there's always, if one thing you can't teach is hard work, and if you work hard no matter what you do, it's always gonna work out at the end. It's when you start half working and not really going to the highest you can be, that's when it's kind of your fault that you're not where you can be.
Strong, man. Just can't get away from it, man. Yeah. Hard work. It's like no matter who you listen to, usually people that have excelled and done great things, that's like the common
For sure.
denominator. It's like hard work.
That's good. Any closing remarks? I think we've hit quite a bit. I mean, this is a topic that we could have you back on, man, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
I wish our good friend Kid was here. He's a true hooper.
Of course.
But yeah, there's a lot more that could be unpacked. Any final remarks or questions you had, Teddy?
No, I think this is great conversation. Learned a lot more than what I was thinking, about this, especially like the basketball scene, outside of just like college and pro, but
Right.
street basketball and just, all of it.
$700 billion industry. I just need a percentage.
Right, growing. And you mentioned that you have a professional team
Yeah.
here?
So I took a very unique business venture back in February. I bought a team in the ABA, the American Basketball Association.
Okay.
So I brought him here to Omaha. So we're playing. We will start playing next month in October. Just right down the street at the Hope Center for Kids. We're playing 8 home games, 10 away. I've succeeded, but I've also failed a lot in my life, and I think this is the best time for me to do this because, I don't have a wife and kids that I have to come home to every night. I have the time to be able to go put really the hours into this and make this Nebraska's only professional basketball team.
So we can no longer complain that Nebraska doesn't have a professional sports team? Dang it. I'm mad, but then I'm really happy. So I will have to get the schedule from you because now I have something to go to.
I'll be there.
But let's clarify just for the audience because this is coming up quick.
Of course.
This is a pro sports team playing right down the street. So what's the name of the team and where can people find more information if they want to tap in after this?
So the name of the team is 402 Elite. And on all social medias, you got 402 Elite ABA. If y'all aren't familiar with the ABA is the American Basketball Association. Every time you walk into a basketball store or a sports store and you see red, white, and blue basketball, that's what the ABA started. It was the same league that Dr. J and Moses Malone played in back in the 1970s. It's the same exact league, and they got teams from all over the place: Cali, New York, Florida, and now Omaha. So,
And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the NBA teams played in ABA way back in the day.
For sure.
But then they changed the franchise.
for sure, I believe the Kings, but I don't know.
I think
exactly.
you might be right,
Yeah.
because I did a paper on this in college, and it was like the Kansas City, Omaha Kings or
Yeah.
something like that. But then that split, and one became the Supersonics, which then
Yeah.
became the OKC Thunder, and then the other one became like Sacramento Kings or
Yeah.
something. That's why they have the Kings name.
Yeah,
But I might, don't quote me on that, but I think, yeah.
that sounds correct for sure.
And there were some dope. Some of the
Yeah.
top players were on that team, and they played in Omaha, and they
Yeah.
played half their games in Omaha, half in Kansas City.
Yeah, they played. The arena's tore down now, but it was an arena downtown. I forgot the name of it. It was like a
It was a Civic,
Oh,
wasn't
Civic
it?
Auditorium.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
played
I
there.
remember.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big time. So, hey, we're back, baby. We
For
got a
sure.
pro sports team, and I want to see this team thrive and grow.
Of course.
We're excited to see what the audience has to say about this, and let's have you back, man. We got to have
do
you
it.
back with some pro players.
let's do
Yeah.
it.
Chop it up, talk about pro sports.
Let's do it.
And bring your camera next time. We want to
Okay.
see if you really got, if you really got it.
I got
'cause
you.
The shots look like you shooting with a cinema camera. So,
Appreciate it. No, for sure.
all right. So that's going to conclude it for this episode of the Content Parlor. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of this episode below, and if we should continue this series on sports marketing. We know that the gig economy is on the rise right now, and you've got to find different ways and different lanes to market yourself. All right, and then we didn't even touch on what is it, the NIL and how college athletes
Yeah.
can monetize their platform. That's a whole conversation.
That's
I mean, the Ball brothers, they came out of college with their own shoe.
Right.
I'm like, I would buy it, but it's like $600. Cool. All right, but that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time. I bet he's trying to come and be in the episode.
It's too late.
It is.
I'm gonna come back next time.
I'm sorry. What's up, man? Mr. Hooper? You got your AirPods in again?
No, this time I don't got no AirPods. No, okay, what's the name of your podcast? J, what's the name of the podcast?
It's called the Content Parlor.
The contact what?
Content Parlor.
Come on, kid, get it together.
You're on the podcast, by the way, so.
Oh, for real? Oh, yeah. No, I'm at work.
Oh, yeah, work. Yeah, we got you on there, Mr. Hooper.
Oh, hopefully they don't see this.
Oh, okay. Well, you tell. So if I'm not, I'm at the work getting and trying to get you the bag, so.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll have to have you back on here. We already agree we're gonna have 402 Visuals back
He
on.
called it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay,
All right,
bro.
man. I'll talk to you later. Yep.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
All right.
All right. Bye.